Well, the jury in the Karen Reed retrial deliberated all day today, almost about 10 hours. Pretty fascinating. Why people are driving from all over the country to sit out front of that courthouse. It's fascinating. Maybe you can relate. When I tell you the celebrity guest that we're chatting with today, I think you're going to say, wow. Did I give it away? No kings. Guess who disagrees? The King, and he's got a new mobile phone plan for you. It's Hot Mics with Billy Bush, presented by our friends at LA Golf. Hey, all right, happy Monday after Father's Day. I don't know about you, but I drank way too much. My daughters are in their 20s. They drink wine. Like, it's... And the Bushman, he does love some wine, so wow. Yeah, a little hungover, whatever. We're live on TuneIn and YouTube. Here's something that's been totally cool. Live streaming on the Hot Mics YouTube channel. We did it Friday. I did it, I'm one of those people that's kind of extreme, you know? I thought I'd just like stream a little bit and talk to people in the chat. And, you know, as the Karen Reed trial was going through closing arguments and then they ended by going into the jury deliberation, I went for 7 hours straight. I actually started to have a panic attack at one point because I had not had enough water. And I was like beginning to couldn't understand. But I'm so intense and when I'm so ADD that when I'm into something, you've been told ADD. ADD is also ADA. Attention deficit advantage. Like when you're really into something, truly ADD people know this. Like you get it done like nobody's business. But everything else around you goes to chaos and goes by the wayside. You don't know where your car is. You don't know where the keys, the phone. You don't know anything. I once left my phone in the refrigerator and I couldn't find it for 2 hours. But we got back to the streaming this morning. I thought that the jury would deliberate for a few hours and I thought we'd have a result by lunch. Certainly by the end of day, and we didn't. But for 2.5 hours this morning, I was streaming live and talking to all you and out there on Hot Mics, and I really appreciate all the interaction, man. It's been really fun. We've had Peter Murphy, the retired police sergeant from Canton PD, running around outside talking to everybody, and he kept interviewing different people. He'd find all these different, and what became interesting is that all these people are coming from crazy places. We talked to a guy from Nebraska, a woman who had driven up from Pennsylvania, a couple people from Rhode Island. People are coming from all over the place, and I'm asking them, what is the uniting emotion here? Everybody said the same thing, that this could happen to me, or this could happen to someone I love. What's happening to Karen Reed? That all of a sudden they're pinning this on her. Then we got into a wild goose chase trying to find John Stamos. Apparently Stamos was performing in Lowell, Massachusetts over the weekend. He's a giant Karen Reed trial fan and supporter. He loves true crime. True crime. I did I say crude crime? Maybe I'm still tired. True crime. And I ended up getting the phone number for his wife, Caitlin McHugh, and I texted Caitlin. She said he's out of pocket today, so I'm hoping to get him on Wednesday. But I don't know. I feel like the John Stamos take on the Karen Reed trial would be a good one. Big news today, sort of at the beginning there, the defense filed a motion to amend the jury verdict slip, which is the actual form, the form that the jury fills out their verdict on and hands to Judge Beverly Cannoni. Beverly denied the defense's motion to amend the jury verdict slip, astonishingly, because in the first trial, it was the jury verdict slip that was the cause of what I would call a miscarriage of justice. Okay, there are 3 counts against Karen Reed. Second-degree murder, meaning she intended to back up her car aggressively and hit and kill her boyfriend, Boston cop John O'Keefe. That's impossible to prove. There's no eyewitnesses. That won't happen. The second count, manslaughter while driving drunk, meaning she caused his death by driving recklessly and drinking. And then the final one is fleeing the scene, resulting in death. Karen was ruled unanimously not guilty in the first trial on counts 1 and 3, second-degree murder and fleeing the scene. But due to confusion with the jury verdict slip that was never relayed to the judge, or Judge Beverly Cannoni overlooked it. So the Commonwealth is now retrying Karen Reed on all 3 counts. But it should only be 1. And that's count number 2, which is driving drunk and manslaughter, backing up and hitting them. On the proposed new verdict slip would be an option to check not guilty on each aspect of the charge. The drunk driving part, the manslaughter part, you could sparse it out and click not guilty boxes. There are options to check guilty boxes on each subsection. So with more options for guilty on a particular sheet than not guilty, it can feel like steering the jury towards guilty. They're reading that word a whole lot more. Let's take a look at me. This jury is mostly younger than the first trial, and a diverse group. They say 7 women, 5 men, 1 older guy in there, but mostly younger. Who knows what happens? I will say this. Because they didn't come back with a verdict today, that doesn't bode well, in my opinion, for Karen to be deemed not guilty across the board on all 3 charges. I'd like to see that as the case, but it doesn't seem that way. It seems they would have gotten to that point already. It looks to me like it's leaning more towards a hung jury, because in no world, in no alternate universe, do I see it as possible that they could find her guilty on these 3 charges. If the Commonwealth comes out victorious somehow in that case, somehow they did, and Karen Reed goes down for the death of John O'Keefe, the state and Massachusetts law enforcement will still have done nothing to quell people's innate feeling that there is corruption. Everybody I spoke to this morning, everybody I spoke to out on the scene, out in front, who had traveled, so far to attend this trial, they all said the same thing. This is outrageous. This is corruption. This could happen to anyone. They're railroading this woman. They have not, the state, the Commonwealth, has not one supporter out in front of that courthouse. And now I don't know if they have them and people are just afraid to participate and to go out there, and because they don't want to be, overwhelmed by the crowd. All polls show a minimum of 80% in favor of not guilty. I mean, every poll you see, mostly 82%, 83% not guilty. I wonder what Karen Reed is doing right now. This is just, she's probably, stuck with her legal team. They're in their quarters. Maybe her father, Bill, is coming by and hanging out. What a crappy Father's Day he had. Again, they don't have one supporter on behalf of the state. They have deep, deep suspicion of their corruption in that state. It's unbelievable. Will the feds come in? Will they attempt to try Karen Reed a 3rd time? See, that's a huge mistake. Imagine if it got to that. That's a huge mistake. You got people very suspicious of corruption within law enforcement in Massachusetts, in that area. And now you're going to go and try her again. You're going to go poke the bear on the public. At this point, I would go to Mrs. O'Keefe, to John O'Keefe's parents, and I'd say, we've tried. Let's call it it is what it is. Let's just turn our attention now to honoring John's beautiful life and move on with that. I think it will be absolute chaos if they try and do it again. So if it's a hung jury, I think people who support Karen Reed will say, given the circumstances in this state, let's call it a victory and walk. Not guilty, hung jury, same thing. That's what I think. Anyway, we were all over this. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning on Hot Mics Live. We'll be talking in the chat section. Join us as we get set for the day and the jury reconvenes to deliberate again. And almost 10 hours again. today. Wow. All right, changing a little gear here. The Trump Organization announced it is rolling out a new cellular service called T1 Phone by Trump Mobile that will charge $47.45 a month and include unlimited calls. Yep, $47.45. The years, his presidential monikers, his numbers. It'll include unlimited calls, text, and data. It also plans to roll out a new $499 phone that will be built in the U.S. $47.45. Weren't you the 45th president before you were the 47th president? I know. There's no reason to leave $2 on the table. $2 a month on the table for that. $47.45. A little bit better of a deal. Hunter Biden was grifting for years, but his mistake was that he was sneaky about it. He and his dad kind of let shame get in their way. Shame, that thing that you and I all experience in our lives at some point. The Trumpster, no shame, all gain, baby. Open air center spotlight grifting. It is Trump coin. It is the top coin buyers, gathering at his golf course, private club for dinner to honor the top 250 buyers of Trump coin. The top 25 get a tour of the White House. He's doing it in the open air. None of it is secretive. And anytime someone questions it, he dismisses it right out. I've got nothing to do with it. In this case, it's Eric Trump, who's running the new opportunity that you have to be a T1 Trump mobile phone buyer. The president is officially not involved, but the new phone and service will align with Eric says, with his father's policy plans to boost American manufacturing and unemployment. So they're going to make all these phones here in America. Acquiring the necessary rare earth minerals to build those phones? Yeah, therein lies the obvious association. Those are deals that only Trump can force or manhandle. We don't build phones here in this country because to do so, they'd cost about $3,500 a phone if we did. And then you're really pissing off your base, right? So also imagine the retaliation for Verizon or AT&T or anybody for an advertisement they take out on television or something that accuses T1 Mobile of being overpriced. We beat T1 every single time. Trump will throw some regulations at them to... I mean, it's an incredible conflict of interest. It will debut a T1 phone in August. The Trump Organization is going to give us the first look at the phone. I showed you what it looks like. Of course, it's gold. It says "Make America Great Again." It's going to cost $499. Is it okay to grift or to make deals as president of the United States if you're not hiding? I don't know. I guess it's better, right? I mean, Hunter's sneaking around trying to pretend that he's some kind of, energy expert serving on the board of a Ukrainian energy company. I mean, we found out. Sneaking off to China, doing all those deals, we found out. But if you just blurt it out like, hey, I'm selling a phone, is it better? I mean, I think so, actually. Okay, golf. Let's talk about golf. In a little while, I want to get into the U.S. Open, but there's a show I'm watching that I kind of love. And coming up, we're going to talk to the star of the show. I call it like the Ted Lasso of golf. I think that's fair. Owen Wilson is going to be with us in seconds here. He stars in the new Apple show Stick, about a washed-up golf pro. It's kind of like, it's got Tin Cup vibes with Kevin Costner. If you haven't seen it, we've been discussing it kind of as Happy Gilmore and meets Ted Lasso with a bit of Tin Cup. I'm going to get his thoughts on that. Can't wait to talk to Owen. Also, there's a new Meet the Parents film maybe in the works. I know they're remaking Tropic Thunder with his great buddy. Maybe they're going to redo Dodgeball. Hollywood loves to remake movies that were successful. Let's see what's going on with that. That's all coming up with Owen Wilson, our guest. But first, I want to take a little break here, talk about Venbrook Insurance, new sponsor of ours here, and I'm super psyched about it. They're amazing people. Jeffrey Lang works with business owners at Venbrook Insurance Services. He always says, it's not the risks you worry about that end up causing damage. It's the ones you never see coming. Isn't that life, right? You see, business interruption is the biggest source of insurance claims, and people are usually just not prepared. whether it's a liability claim, property damage, or workers' comp incident, it's crucial to have the right coverage in place. Jeff's team at Venbrook works with you to make sure you're covered from every angle. It's all about helping you make bold, smart moves with confidence so you can keep moving forward with what matters. That's why Venbrook's tagline is boldly go forward. You can book a free consultation at venbrook.com/hot mics. I hope you do. They're really, really good people. Tell them Billy sent you. Well, they say blondes have more fun, and this man has had a lot of fun with a very long and sexy career. Owen Wilson is with us. The mics are hot with Owen. My brother, oh my God, is it good to see you. And this, I love Stick. I got to say it. This is, you know what? If you're a math major, Ted Lasso plus Happy Gilmore equals Stick. Is that fair? Like, this is great.
Listen, math wasn't my strong suit, but that math, that's the new math. And yeah, that sounds pretty good. And thank you for that introduction. A long and sexy career.
Sexy.
So,
you are eternally sexy. You'll be sexy forever. There's just no question about it.
Yeah.
Are you at all? I know you're. Look, I've played a little golf with your brother Luke, but are you?
What do you shoot? You're a pretty good golfer, right? You can break. Can you break 80?
Oh yeah. Fairly regularly.
Really?
Yeah. I'm
you
the
ever
Stick.
had a hole in one?
You know, I can tell you how many hole in ones I've had. Hold on, let me see. None. But I'm gonna get one. I want one. So, yeah, I have the worst thing actually. I have a hole in 3. So I took the first ball and I pumped it into the woods, and then I reloaded and it went into the cup, and everyone's jumping, oh my God, hole in 1. I said, oh yeah, well, what's the number that I have to put down on the card?
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
a 3.
I actually had one of those in Maui where I was just playing so well, and it's getting dark, and I get to this 175-yard par 3 end of the day, and I hit one and was like, that wasn't very good. I'll hit another one. That wasn't that good. I'll hit one more. Okay, that felt great. I didn't even see where it went. I go down there. I see the 2 I didn't hit well, and then where's the other one? I'm looking around, and boom, it was in the cup. And yeah, that's obviously not a real hole in one, but it still was really exciting. And I did save the ball. I saved the ball and I used it and then lost it, I think, the next day. But I was with Don Nelson, who I play with in Maui. Coach Nelson, Hall of Fame, winningest coach in NBA history, and he got a hole in one, and 83 years old, hole in one.
Holy mackerel! Was it his first? Wouldn't that be beautiful to finally?
No, it was like his. I think it was like his third. Yeah. Some guys it just comes to. I feel like I'm gonna get one. Like when you're, do you feel that you're going to get one, or do you feel that you're never going to get one?
I feel like well, that's the thing now. Now you're really getting into this whole manifesting area, this whole universe. Speak nicely to it and it will take care of you. What you put out there comes back. I'm super negative on the whole thing. It's a definite, not a chance. I'm never going to have one. In fact, I go dark as soon as a guy tells me, hey, not going to believe it, I had a hole in one. I'm like, I'm never going to get mine. Before I can celebrate him.
You're almost daring the universe to prove you wrong. Exactly. You're taking that route. You're like the kid on Christmas, like, oh, I'm never going to get the bike I want. Yeah, that's effective. That works with parents. So that
reverse psychology.
Will work the universe. Yeah, I'm the other way. Like, I know it's coming. I know it's going to be under the tree.
Oh, well, I mean, listen. For you, I look at your career. You're at University of Texas. Your roommate is Wes Anderson. You guys write what becomes Bottle Rocket. By the way, what was it called before Bottle Rocket?
It was always Bottle Rocket. That was the title that Wes came up with. And literally when it was just him sort of like, kind of doodling on a piece of paper, that was the title.
So if that hadn't have worked out, I mean, so basically right out of school, you guys have a successful script. It's still one of the great movies. And it sort of just goes from there. But what if it didn't work? What if it never picked up? Like, so many people like struggle in the acting.
Dark now, aren't we? I
what
don't
would you
know
have been?
what would have happened if that hadn't worked. I mean, my dad was in advertising. I was kind of okay at writing. Maybe I would have somehow been able to get into that, but I didn't
Columnist?
graduate from college, and I don't know. It could have been scary. I don't know what would have happened if Bottle Rocket hadn't come through. And by the way, that didn't seem like it was going to come through because even after we made it, Sony said it was their worst testing movie in history. So,
you had your whole family in it too, right?
oh gosh, I still remember us leaving the second test screening we had, where maybe only we only had 20 walkouts as opposed to half the audience the first time, and an executive coming up to us and saying, "Congratulations, seriously." And Jim Brooks said, who was walking with us and was the producer, quick as a whip, said, "Our goal for the next screening is to have someone say congratulations without having to say seriously."
Oh, God, is that good? Oh,
and we never got there.
I was telling you a second ago, I was talking just a few minutes ago with our mutual friend, the great Bradley Thomas, a film producer. I never got to share with Bradley because the idea hit me as soon as we hung up. I have a tremendous idea for a movie, and I have to get it out to you right now. It just hit me. It's a movie about the Manning brothers, starring the Wilson brothers, and it's a comedy because Eli, he does the Chad Powers character, which now Glenn Powell's going to play in a series. But I think you're Peyton, Luke is Eli, Andrew is Cooper Manning. So it's the Wilsons doing the Mannings, and in promotion of the movie, the Mannings play the Wilsons because they're pretty funny guys.
I love that idea. I think that's actually a really good one. And Luke and I did go on, their Monday Night Football thing. And I mean, I always think I'm glad that you have me as Peyton, because that is the brother that I identify with.
Right.
The middle brother.
The blonde.
Yeah. And there's also, I mean, you have to also admit, like, Peyton is like a good actor. Like,
yes.
When you see him in commercials, I mean, some of those commercials are like the best commercials that you've ever seen.
Well, the bar is low, Owen. Let's be honest. All the athletes who do commercials, they're terrible. The State Farm commercials, these guys cannot act their way out of a paper bag. Manning is fantastic. Eli is very good.
Chop that meat. Chop, yeah.
So we're going to get you in the gym. I don't see you as like a regular member of Gold's Gym or Equinox or something, but you are in good shape. We got to buff you up a little to,
Little bit. We're going to have to bulk me up. But yeah, you don't look at, Peyton and, it's not like he, looks like a bodybuilder.
No.
I probably have
and
to
we can
grow.
shoot you from the ground to get you a little taller.
Yeah,
I mean, you're
get me like a little
6
bit,
feet.
but and then Andrew as Cooper.
Yeah.
And then who knows, we might have to have somebody playing Arch Manning, because Arch Manning obviously is coming into his own.
One of your boys. It's going to take a little while to do this. Ford or Finn? Ford is
Yeah, well, I mean, Ford's only 14, and Arch looks like he's going to be the starting quarterback for University of Texas. So, we might have to bring in someone to play that role. But and then who would play the dad? He's a great guy.
Oh my God, you got Archie himself, the grandpa. We got to get you. Lost your father. We're gonna play in. We'll be thinking of him when we cast.
Yeah,
someone you love from down the road who feels like sort of a dad figure to you that you loved and you've worked with, and it's coming to you now. Now it's coming to you.
Yeah, well, we just lost Gene Hackman. He was always, never less than great in a movie.
Oh my God, Gene Hackman.
Yeah, gosh, he was good. But
Harrison Ford, maybe?
Harrison Ford.
Your publicist represents you and Harrison Ford, so I know her well. I think she could help us with the negotiations.
Yeah, and Harrison Ford looks like an athlete.
He sure does.
He's still very kind of, Yeah, he
I'm
looks
glad I
good.
got this idea out. Now, you look like a man with a very fertile mind, so I'm just going to let that spin around in there as the Manning Brothers movie comes to life. It could be with a great sense of humor.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think okay.
No one ever
Let's
said
let
I'm
it.
right, so I also appreciate that. Owen Wilson is with us. He is the star of Stick. God, it's like they compare it to Ted Lasso, which is the best thing because it's just I don't know, it's just happy viewing. It's like it's got heart and it's got humor. And how much golf did you have to learn how to play? Because I know you play some.
Well, I didn't play really any before we started, and then I started kind of learning for this, and it's continued where, I was playing the other day in Dallas,
Wow.
and
Trinity Forest, where were you?
yeah. What'd you say?
Trinity Forest, where were you playing? Were
I
you
was playing
DC?
at Northwood
Mm.
with a friend, which was actually the club that my dad played growing up. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, golf seemed kind of intimidating to me as a kid and very kind of serious. And I just never really picked it up. And so it was great with this show to finally kind of learn and to realize that I've always described my brothers as great golfers. And now that I've kind of learned, I realize they're not that great.
And you're super
You
competitive,
know.
is what I hear. Would you say that you are super competitive, almost to the point that it could be an issue?
Well, it is, but not. I think that there are people that are so competitive they can't compete, like that they just can't take losing. And I'm definitely not like that. I think I'm the type of competitive person that you want to play where, okay, this guy's going to feel bad if you win, which is kind of what you want, Like I love competing against Woody and stuff because I know it kills him when I
Harrelson.
win. And that's part of, yeah, and that's part of winning. The feeling is seeing Woody really bummed out. And so, yeah, you're going to get that from me too. Whereas you play some guys, I don't really care. And then it's like, what's the fun if the person doesn't really care?
Who would
So I think I'm like the good kind of competitive.
who would win in backgammon usually? You or Woody Harrelson?
I'm definitely a better backgammon player than Woody. And the great thing is that he thinks we're equal. So that's how you win a lot of money from someone.
Yeah, love guys like that. Who would win in ping pong? You or Woody?
That's tough.
Can you say ping
For a
pong?
while, I used to always feel like if I really concentrated, I could win. And then there was like a 2-year window where I could not beat the guy until I found out he'd been taking lessons on the side. And that sort of began sort of like a tactical arms race because then I started taking lessons and got one of those special rackets. And then he sort of was like, "What?" He was like, "You've been taking lessons." I was like, "Oh yeah." So now I would say it's back to me, sort of maybe being a slightly better than him.
I talked to him. He doesn't agree. Oddly enough. Okay, so one of your great collaborators, Ben Stiller. He's going to do the Les Grossman movie. That's what I hear. He's going to do the Les Grossman movie with Tom Cruise. What movie might there be another Zoolander with you and Ben? Are you in the works on something like that?
I think they're talking about another Meet the Parents.
Ooh.
So that I think would happen. But I wonder what character from Zoolander, the way you mentioned Lex Grossman, could have. I mean, the obvious one is the Will Ferrell could have a spin-off. But yeah. No, I
I
think
think
the
another
next
Meet the
thing.
Parents is a must.
Yeah, which will be, I think, maybe like the 37th time Ben and I have worked together.
Wow.
Are we not supposed to be talking about it?
Not yet, it hasn't been announced.
It hasn't been announced?
Oh, you've
Oh,
done it
okay.
again.
Yeah.
You've done it again, Owen.
So hold on that. How could that not have been it? We're
Because they're
supposed to
working
be,
on it. It's about to happen.
but we're supposed to be even doing it later this summer, I think.
Oh, but they just want to make their formal.
Oh, formal thing. Oh, yeah. Okay. I guess they're going to do it. Okay. Well, back up. That never happened. Yes, there's going to be another Zoolander.
Oh, your
coming.
publicist is already texting me. Hold on. Oh my God.
Okay, she's saying hold on that a week.
Okay, we'll sit for a second on it. Incredible from 100 out in golf. Just took up the game. You put in one from 100 out, according to Bradley Thomas.
I put in, yeah, Bradley's pretty good. But how would you rate Bradley's game?
He's okay. He's not as good as Luke. Luke Wilson is a nice golfer. He has a beautiful game. He's always out there with Pete Sampras.
Always with Pete, yeah.
Little Kinnear gets in that match.
Yeah. Who do you think between Greg and Bradley? Who do you bet on?
Oh, well, they're vicious. And by the way, Greg, who's had been very successful, $5 is the most he'll bet on a golf course. It's very frustrating. With all that money he has, he's very cheap. They fight like crazy. And I would say the better golfer is probably Greg, even though he's got the yips so badly, he putts with one hand because he can't put the...
I thought he was joking, right? The first time I played, I thought, oh, he's doing like a little bit here because he keeps one hand in his pocket and then he's putting with just one hand. And yeah, it's not a sign of, that's not, that's... I think there is something going on. You don't like to say
on
someone
bicycles riding around in his head while he's playing golf. That's what's going on for Greg Kinnear, to the point he can't even put the other hand on the putter. No therapist can solve this. Owen Wilson is the star of Stick, the producer of Stick, and he's rocking here with us. What is the... Did you ever have a terrible audition, Owen?
I didn't have that many auditions. The movie that I went and I auditioned for Anaconda and I got it.
Oh, wow.
Met that director. So that was an exciting day.
Terrible death for you in that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I used to die a lot in movies early on, in Armageddon and The Haunting. I had my head knocked off. But yeah, in Anaconda, I got eaten by the snake or swallowed whole.
The animatronics on that movie are just spectacular if you watch them again.
They are. They're actually doing another one because I was just in Australia and
you're going to get in trouble again.
Yeah, or do we have to wait on announcing that? Yeah, that one's top secret also.
We are talking to Luke Wilson's brother.
Marvel is secretive.
This is...
yeah.
Now I'm going to refer to you as Luke Wilson's brother, Leek Wilson.
Leek. That sounds like somebody from Sweet Smell of Success, like kind of, hey, we're going to talk to our man, Leek Wilson. He's got something hot for us.
He always lets the cat out.
Hush, hush from Leek Wilson.
See, if it didn't work out in the movies with you and Wes and you became like a writer or a columnist, we could have called Leek Wilson would have been a great name for a columnist of some kind.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, that's good. Kind of Fleet Street. Yeah.
Now, here a couple of quick questions for you. What's your favorite band?
My favorite band, for some reason, AC/DC just came to mind, but that was maybe because that was the first tape that I ever got, Back in Black.
Yeah.
But, what I like about AC/DC and the Ramones is sometimes there's so much emphasis put on like growth for an artist and they've got to change. And then you've got these artists like AC/DC. It's like, no, we're not going to grow at all. We're going to keep doing exactly the same thing over and over until you say, you're the best. And so I kind of like that approach.
Or until you can't hear anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, these are designed for short answers. Nickname when you were a kid?
Nickname was Big O on my football team. I think I weighed 65 pounds, and I was the running back known as Big O.
It's like calling a bald guy Curly. I love it. It was a spindly little guy.
That guy, tiny. Yeah.
Favorite pet growing up?
Favorite pet was our Dalmatian, Nutmeg, and Wes used that name for Isle of Dogs, for the love interest dog, I think. So, yeah.
Who is the
Nutmeg.
funniest person you've ever worked with in the biz? Who makes you laugh more than anyone?
I love Pete Fairley. He came down for my mother's 80th birthday that we had for her in Dallas, and it was we had a lot of people there. And the end of the night, my mother saying goodbye to some of her friends, and Pete Fairley comes walking by holding a chair, this like chair, leaving with it, saying, "Thank you so much." And my mother's friends are sort of, "What is happening here?"
Craziest thing is it was a Barca lounger. He's a very strong man. This is it. The Manning brothers, starring the Wilson brothers, directed by the Farrelly brothers. This is
There we go.
Oh my God, it's so coming together. Celebrity crush when you were a kid. Who was on the poster on the wall, basically?
I love Cheryl Ladd in Charlie's Angels, and then Raquel Welch, Bo Derek, Victoria Principal in Dallas.
Oh my God, yes.
She was great. Yeah.
Oh my God. First kiss, how old were you, and who was that lucky woman, girl?
First kiss was probably about 13, and a girl that lived in the neighborhood, and I won't say her name, but
no, she'll be embarrassed, and her husband will be jealous, even now. Now. Young actor right now who you think has the right stuff, like who you think is pretty good, makes you laugh.
Well, of course, the kid and the guy in the show with me, Peter does a great job. And then well, you also mentioned the guy, from the Glenn Powell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or no, Glenn Powell is the guy's name.
Yeah, Glenn Powell. He's a UT guy. I think he's a UT guy like you. And
he's from Texas, and I thought he was great, and obviously the Top Gun, and then he actually was in. Luke and Andrew did a movie in Austin that they wrote and directed, and he played the paper boy in that when he was like a little kid.
Wow.
So yeah, I think he's great.
Texans all stick together. Is there a TV series you're watching right now? Do you watch TV or is...
I like The Crown a lot, and I got Luke. Luke was kind of a holdout, and then
who's your favorite queen? When you look at The Crown, there's so many queens.
That's the thing, because Luke was talking to me. He goes, "Oh, I really like this queen, and now they've switched to this one. I don't like her." I go, "Stick with it." And then, sure enough, he was like, "Yeah, you're right. That queen. There isn't one that's bad, but I mean, my favorite of them, I would say, was the sort of the queen." When she first gets married to Philip, I'm not sure what her name is, so I guess it was sort of the young queen. I thought she was very charming.
Yeah, we first queen, then Olivia Colman, and then a third, three queens. Three queens.
Oh, but she's great. Judi Dench, or not Judi Dench? She was
her doppelganger,
Vera Drake.
Yes,
yes, and I love her.
Oh,
she's great.
Who is
I love
the
that
actor?
movie, Vera Drake, by the way. That's one that I remember she got nominated for an Oscar, that woman. But she's great.
Do you have a Krasinski? And that means an actor that kind of is in your orbit that you're like, if it's not going to be you, it's going to be him most of the time. There's like a guy. We all have a Krasinski.
Yeah, I wonder. I guess it would be Brad Pitt for me.
I love it. F1 starring Owen Wilson.
It came right down to me and Brad for the F1 thing, and then
you did Cars, he did F1.
Yeah, right.
Very interchangeable.
But I thought you were going to ask a different question, which is, it's not underrated, but like an actor that maybe doesn't even get as much credit as they really deserve. And Ray Liotta, to me. It was so good. Like, do you remember him in Something Wild? Like, he plays the kind of intense, scary guy with Jeff Daniels in Something Wild and Melanie Griffith, and he's unbelievable. And that must have been why he got cast in Goodfellas. But I think he's great. So, and he was also in this great movie about brothers that's very moving, Dominic and Eugene, with Tom Hulce plays kind of the other brother. But yeah, I love Ray Liotta.
Yeah. Our daughters went to school together, so I knew Ray. I'd pick my daughter up at Ray's house back in the day.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, sweet Ray Liotta. Very nice guy, actually. Lovely man. And back to the brothers.
Richard Gere would be another. I mean, everyone loves Richard Gere because he's, but I'm not sure he's ever been nominated for an Oscar, but I think he should have been for, Officer and Gentleman. Bradley Thomas and I will always talk about that movie. So yeah, that's the
great movie. Bradley Thomas producing the Manning Brothers movie, starring the Wilson Brothers movie, directed by the Farrelly brothers.
Yeah, wait. I just remember, playing golf with Luke, he always has like a lot of ways he's going to be coming at you with mind games, and that was his latest one. When we were playing the other day, he started quoting Lou Gossett from Officer and Gentleman, saying, "I want your DOR" to me after he made a putt.
Did it work?
It did work. I missed it.
Some stick you are. I love it. Stick is, get on it. Apple TV Plus. It's just charming as hell. It's Owen Wilson just doing what you do, baby. It's awesome. My great friend Howard Owens is your producer too, and from Propagate. And I hope you do many seasons. Many.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. That was fun.
Thank you so much for the time, brother. I'll see you soon.
Adios.
Bye. And coming up, it's your turn. Fire away at me. Ask me anything. And I mean anything, and I will answer it, including who I dreaded interviewing the most. Oh, my God, I've interviewed. Not that guy. Owen Wilson was great. I'll tell you who sucked. Coming up, Hot Mics with Billy Bush, presented by LA Golf. We're back in 30.
Welcome to LA Golf. You guys ready for the tour? We're the only golf company that manufactures its clubs here in the United States. All LA Golf drivers are built right here.
I'm very excited for today's production. It's going to be
4 left. Anybody hungry? So does he work here?
Work here? He lives here.
And we're back on Hot Mics here. Time for Fire Away. Ask Billy anything. You can always send in a question at any time. I've made a commitment to answer everything very honestly. And that can get awkward because everyone's always covering up some kind of stuff. The link is in the description. If you want to send a video in with your question, we would love that. So click that link in the description of the show. Okay, let's check out today's question from Finduco. Here we go. Has there ever been anyone you've dreaded interviewing? Oh, yeah. There's been a lot of people I've dreaded interviewing. I think the first one, by the way, I'd like to welcome in the CEO of LA Golf, sponsors this show, the great Reed Dickens, also a great friend of mine. So I figure I'm going to answer some of these questions, and I've got you here for color, big guy. How you doing?
I'm ready.
Yeah, man. So everyone, the famous story I've told millions of times, and if you haven't heard it, you hear it quickly. I'll do a quick job with it. Is Tommy Lee Jones he's just not a nice person. I think he has a disdain for the media. Like, he's mad that he has to be promoting these movies he makes, and so he goes to these, junket interviews, and he's like, just mad to be there, and a general disdain for the interviewer and for what they stand for and what they do for a living. It's like it just hurts so deeply to every. Anyway, I was new on the job. It was like my first year ever. And I said to Tommy, I was like, so you're doing Men in Black. Normally we know you for drama, and this is a comedy. Which do you prefer? I'm like, that's a safe question to get things going. I'm very young. My first year on the gig. And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, what? Yeah, that's not a yes or no question. Which okay. Whoa. What was my next question? I grabbed my sheet. I'm like looking down the. And his whole existence was just to humiliate me. In the moment, I started sweating, and I said to myself, if I ever interview that guy again, when I get good and I know what I'm doing and I'm comfortable, I'm going to let him have it. Well, it was years. It was like 11 years since I got him. And then I was at the Oscars, and he was nominated. No Country for Old Men, I believe. And I said, here he comes. He's coming down the line. I'm at the Oscars, and I'm like, wait till I get a hold of this guy. I'm going to let him have it. Why do you hate America so much? Why are you so nasty? And he comes, and he turns around, and he goes, hi! And I said, Tommy, hello! And he goes, hey there, Billy, and I'd like you to meet my daughters. I'm such a lucky guy tonight to be with my beautiful girls. And all of a sudden, he became this sweet older man that had his beautiful daughters with him, and he was like, and they're like, Daddy, Daddy. And I'm like, okay, there goes that. So out the window, I didn't get my chance to punch back at him. But maybe the biggest dread, and this is as honest as I can be, but you try to get something out of people. A headline is good, and you learn along the way. This is why we don't cancel people when they're young and they make a mistake, because the whole point is evolving. But I interviewed Ricky Martin down in Miami, and it was for his new Latin album, and he had just done Living La Vida Loca, so he was like this sex symbol, and women everywhere were like, he's so hot, he's so hot. He did the big Grammy performance, and yet everyone was kind of like, isn't he gay? I think he's gay. I'm talking to my producer, Rob, and I'm like, I think just gonna ask him. I think Barbara Walters had asked him before, and he kind of brushed it off, and I was like, let's just find out. Like, it's like a new world. Like, just, are you gay? Well, it's not a great idea when someone's really got something deeply held personally. And again, I'm very young, sort of a cowboy on the Jets. My second year. Tommy was but I'm like, I'm feeling myself. And I go down, and I'm doing an interview with him at some recording studio, and I say, Ricky, I asked 6 people in the bar last night at the hotel where I was staying, what they wanted to know about you, and they all said the same thing. Do you know what that is? And I could see him stiffen up a little bit, like, he's like, okay, what did they want to know? And I said, I felt that moment like, oh shit, am I going there? Are we doing this? And I said, are you gay? And he goes, what? He rips the microphone off his chest. You son of a bitch, you're no better than Barbara Walters. You don't care about me or what is going on in my world and my life or anything. You just want to get your headline. And he rips it off, and he storms off the set, and I'm like, okay, whoa. I'm grabbing my little papers, and I'm like, it was so bad. It was so thick, and I walk out onto the street, and I'm out the side door, and I call my producer, Rob, and who works with me here now, because he's on vacation. I said, Rob, and he's like, hey, what's going on? My phone tree's lighting up here. What's that? I got people calling me from the label. Before I answer it, what happened? I said, I asked Ricky Martin if he's gay. He goes, you did what? I said, I asked him if he was gay. I told you he was going to. Yeah, I didn't think you would. I said, I know, I really regret it. Oh shit, what am I gonna do? He's so mad. And I'm like, anyway, I know what to do. I gotta go. And I hang up the phone, and I walk right back in, and I said to all the handlers that were out there, I said, hi, can you please tell Ricky that it's me again, I'm here, and I really want to talk to him in private. They go into this dressing room where he is, and they come out, and the guy says, he'll talk to you. Everybody leaves. I'm alone in this little green room with Ricky Martin, and I said, Ricky, I'm so sorry. I didn't know what I was thinking. You're right. I was thinking, this will be a big story and how cool, and I didn't think about how personal this was for you, and I'm an idiot, and I deeply apologize, and I can promise you this will never see the light of day. I'm going to put it right in there next to the Trump tape. Promise you, it's never coming out, ever. You will never see this, and that one did stay in forever, and I'm just telling you about it now, but it was just like one of those things. You live and you learn, and I apologized, and he said to me, he basically came out to me at that moment. He was like, I appreciate you coming back in here. I did not like the question. This is something that's been part of my life forever. You can probably, what you're sensing or what you think is right, and I have to find my time, my way to take care of my personal life. That is my business. And I said, you totally do. And you will never, ever another word from me. And I'm so sorry. And hugged it out, left, saw him a few months later at a Latin Billboard kind of a red carpet thing. And he was amazing. He was great. And I love Ricky Martin to this day for forgiving me. And I love, making the mistake. But that's like, when you're young and dumb and, you're dumb. And
I'm not young.
No, and you're not young.
By the way, that we had him for the inauguration in 2000, and about that same time. I don't know what year. You were talking
he
about.
Performed in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, he was a pretty big deal at that time, but I don't think anyone was still wondering then.
Was he wearing leather pants for George
I don't think anyone
Bush?
was still wondering at that time.
No, obviously, now he's, on Palm Royale and the whole thing. Anyway, Reed Dickens with me right now, one of my great pals, and as I said, the CEO of LA Golf right here, Reed and I. He's a father of 4 kids. We were together yesterday after playing a little golf, watching a little golf on the patio. If you watched the U.S. Open yesterday, wow, the toughest golf conditions, the toughest tournament, the toughest golf course ever, and a guy that I think was wondering if his credit card was going to work at Vaughn's the week before.
That was what was so special to me, because a lot of guys, even when they win their first tournament, they've already made a lot of marketing dollars, right? A lot of these young guys have already kind of created generational wealth just from marketing deals, right?
Like Ricky Fowler, his orange business is right. He may not win tournaments anymore.
But you could tell that this, I made a joke that I don't even know if his, could pay his mortgage 2 months ago, and I wasn't being mean. I think it was a life-changing moment. $4.5 million is a life-changing moment.
That was his check, $4.5 million. This guy, JJ Spawn, and his 2 little kids there. It's one of those great Father's Day stories. Oakmont is one of the most difficult golf courses. They get off on it. They love that it's impossible. Some of the biggest names in golf, you didn't even hear from them. They didn't even show in the tournament. This guy, it was his moment. And
he didn't just win. He made a clutch drive to the green on 17 and then a bomb putt to win it. That's what dreams are made of.
He went for it.
Yeah.
He birdied the last 2 holes and was the only golfer to finish under par for the tournament. The only person. Scotty Scheffler 4+. It was tough. But what a beautiful, I think there was tears. I was crying.
We all were.
Yeah. There's man tears. All these dudes sitting around together drinking oh my God.
It was the cigar smoke. We didn't even have to hide the tears because everyone was crying. It was an emotional moment. I was so excited for him.
I've never played Oakmont Country Club, and I want to do it just to see if I can break 120.
So we spent a lot of time debating yesterday on double bogey golf is 104-ish. You got to figure you're gonna make a few 10s, right?
Ooh.
So 120 sounds like the over/under for a 10 handicap or somewhere in that ballpark.
It's just incredible. But anyway, I don't know if we'll ever hear from this guy. Was this his one moment, or are we now on a JJ Spawn thing where I don't know. I've never heard of the guy in my life.
Well, once you can close out a major, right? He came from behind. Sam Burns was up 5 strokes on him with 9 holes to play, right? Or something like that. So this guy came from behind. He went for it in the clutch. He made the big shots. Dick Vitale used to say big time players make big time plays in big time moments. He may now have the confidence to go win a bunch of tournaments.
I hope so.
Yeah.
He was a great winner for that Father's Day. LA Golf is listen, we talk about this all the time. In this chapter of my life, just going forward and doing my thing, my own thing. We're aligning with people that we see eye to eye and we believe in. And Reed Dickens here has built LA Golf, which is, the brand recognition in that short a period of time, being in the conversation with Callaway and Titleist and these things, in that short, has it been 4 years? Maybe?
4 years, yeah.
4 years is incredible.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We were just had a moment internally the other day. I was telling my team, it's really stressful manufacturing. We manufacture in America in Anaheim, California, right? Everything's made in Southern California. We distribute to 20 countries on 5 continents, and we really did in about 4 years what Callaway and TaylorMade took about 30 years to do, right? And it's hard. Manufacturing's messy and hard, and adoption in golf is really hard because every rich guy, every guy in golf thinks they know everything about their equipment, and so it's a tough space. But I feel like when you innovate, when you truly innovate, Bryson's big idea was having the curvature of the face match your swing speed, and we patented that, and it's really working. People only care about the results they get, right? And people are trying to, guys even that you and I know who said, hey, I'm going to try your driver as a favor, but I'm not giving up my Titleist or my Callaway driver. A week later, I get a text from them saying, it went in the bag today. It's life-changing, right?
Yeah, when I rolled some video on Coach Sean Payton, I was down at a golf tournament in Mexico, and Coach Sean Payton was in it, and LA Golf, you guys had a good setup there, and fitting people for drivers. And Sean Payton, the head coach of the Denver Broncos, who has a spotty drive, I'm not gonna lie. He was up there. He started striping them like this, and they're fitting him, and I believe he's a convert to the program.
I got a text just Thursday night from our mutual friend, Michael Strahan. I was sitting at dinner, and I got a text that said, this thing's insane, life-changing. And so I love getting those texts because when you reduce side spin, it takes a ball that would have been OB and turns it into a decent shot.
I hope it's not too life-changing for Michael Strahan, because there's nothing I love more than his Venmos.
Taking his money?
Oh, his Venmos are the greatest. I've taken more Michael Strahan money than he's taken from me, and I'm saying by a long shot. Not as much as I've taken from you.
Second only to how much you've taken from me.
I got to say, that is true. But now I
did share with your daughters that I'm a material percentage of their trust one day, so to be nice to me.
Exactly. Girls, be nice to this man. Not only does he sponsor the podcast, but I kick his ass on the golf course fairly regularly. I can feel it coming around for you. The putter, the driver, and now we have the irons. So I got to say my irons have been kind of working for me, but I want to come in. The irons are a big deal. Bryson put them in play the week before and played them at the U.S. Open. Obviously, the Oakmont was not a great first experience for anyone, but the irons are really exciting because it's the same concept as the driver. The bulge, the curvature of the face matches your swing speed, and we're getting a lot of great feedback. We'll be coming out with those in the fall, but you'll get yours soon. I'm not usually known for my bulge, but with the driver. People are talking about it. I got to say that. It's at the end of we got a question coming in here from the chat right there. Steve-O, fire away. You can hear it.
Yeah, here we go. So for both you guys from SP, you were talking about golf courses. Which golf course would you guys like to play that maybe you haven't played? What's out there for you guys?
The golf course that I haven't played that I'd like to play. I'll tell you what. I'm playing one this summer for the first time, and it's apparently, you tell me, Reed, you know more about this, but it's called Cabot Links up in Nova Scotia.
I played there last summer. Absolutely bucket list, stunning. I think it's a top 10. I believe it's a top 10 course. Stunning views, gorgeous course, amazing track. Definitely one of my top 3 of all time. My course that I'd love to play is Pine Hills. I've never played there.
Pine Hills. Okay, so I'm doing Cabot Links. I'm going to report from there. I can't wait. It's right on the ocean in Nova Scotia. You got to fly up the coast. They got a teeny little place to land, and we're going with a group of guys, and we're going to be hosted by probably the guy that hosted you. The great Dion Phaneuf of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Speaking of a hustler.
Speaking of a hustler and a guy you do not want to gamble with on the golf course, put him at the top of your list, Dion Phaneuf. LA Golf, folks, check it out. Pick up the irons. Get in there. You can take, on lagolf.com, you can take a survey. You can enter your swing speed that you can do on a TrackMan anywhere you fill out and get a driver that just matches you. It's really just custom for you. And no one else is doing that. So lagolf.com for that. Reader, what a great U.S. Open.
Good to see you.
Thank you for smoking a cigar with me and for watching and for crying with me. We cried together.
We cried together. We had a moment.
I kind of love that. Hot Mics, folks, presented today by LA Golf and that great man right there. Take your swing to the next level with LA Golf's cutting-edge technology. lagolf.com to upgrade your game. Thank you for listening to Hot Mics today. Appreciate it so much. We are back on Wednesday. A very interesting guy. One of the biggest things we've done that's gone viral is when Jonah Platt, who is the brother of Ben Platt, the singer, and the son of big-time Disney producer Mark Platt, Jonah Platt is going to be joining us, and he is on the front lines of a lot of things, but he's the guy defending his father against the woke attacks that Snow White underwent. Anyway, he's also on the Israel front. He's really outspoken, very interesting guy. That's it for us. Thank you for watching. We will see you Wednesday. And please hop on to Hot Mics on YouTube and hit subscribe. Ta-ta.
Hey!